I signed a lease and decided to open a popcorn shop before I ever made a single batch of popcorn. My name is Ginger Frank, and I'm the founder and CEO of Poppy Handcrafted Popcorn. My only intention when I opened Poppy was to have this little retail shop where I made popcorn, people came in, I put it into a plastic bag with a twist tie, and out the door they went, and I'd flip the sign at 5:30 and go get my kids, and that was my whole ambition for Poppy. So 10 years later, it looks really different. Popcorn has always been like the snack that my family loved. So growing up, it's really funny when I think back to the 70s and 80s, like every infomercial that had like the new popcorn gadget, like we always had that. And then when I was a teenager and my brother and I were like old enough to drive, we would go to the movie theater and get popcorn to go, and people were always like at the movie theater, they were like, you just came in here to get the popcorn? Like nobody pays $10 for a bag of popcorn that's from the movie theater and then leaves. So we would go, that would be kind of our meetup. We would go get popcorn and sit in our cars in the parking lot and catch up. Really my main inspiration for starting Poppy was to start a business. My background is really in retail and branding and merchandising and things like that. So that's why the shop, like as a retail shop, was kind of like what I naturally thought of, because that's what my background was. I signed a lease and decided to open a popcorn shop before I ever made a single batch of popcorn. When we first started, we just filled popcorn like in a plastic bag with a twist tie. About a year into it, we started thinking about wholesale because we got inquiries from people that wanted to sell it in their stores, and I didn't really know how that worked. The stuff that we were packing, you had to eat it in a couple of days or it'd be stale. So it's been like a history of popcorn science over the last 10 years of just learning. There's so many things to know about what keeps popcorn fresh. It's super, super finicky. Any kind of moisture at all makes it go stale. If somebody would have said, like, are you looking for a new packaging vendor? We would have said, no, we're not. But because Jessica was who she is, we started a conversation with her and just like immediately like had this connection with her. At that time, I think the conversation was like, I don't even know what I need.
My name's Jessica Burgess. I work for Morrisette Packaging. For me, when I first came in, they didn't have a lot of space. So they needed storage. So what we did is we came in and we said, hey, we can get all these products for you, larger quantities, save you some money, and we can warehouse and release as you need it. So it helped with their space, and it also helped with cash flow. And that's what really started our relationship, was bringing that value to them.
So she was really great at like kind of sitting down with me and really finding out what my goals were and what I was trying to accomplish, because I don't think I had, no one else kind of in her position with another company had really done that with me. And so I didn't even know what the options were. I just only knew what we bought, and so we'll just keep buying it because I don't know what all's available and I don't have the time to figure it out. So she kind of came back to me with some ideas, and that like really kind of got the ball rolling for me kind of thinking outside of the box a little bit. And then we've always been short on like having like an in-house designer or a marketing person in that way. And so when she was like, oh, well, we can work on this artwork for you, that was another bonus. I was like, oh, that would be amazing, which I think is so helpful for a small business when you just always feel short-staffed. And so that just kind of like started that relationship. It got to, where I felt comfortable, like, hey, Jessica, like, I have this idea, like, is this box gonna cost me $20? Or like, should I just put this idea to rest, or is this a possibility? And she's always been, let me look into it, let me get you some different ideas, and then, if one of these works, then you can kind of go to the next step. And so that's been really helpful, where I don't feel like I'm burdening her with like researching pricing and options for things that might not ever come to fruition. Like she treats every project like I'm gonna order 1 million of those. I think that's really great in somebody that you're working with when you're trying to grow your business. So the future for Poppy is a bit undefined at the moment, but we know we want to grow. We've been constrained by our capacity for a long time. We weren't able to take new orders. We weren't able to take new customers. We sold out of our holiday offerings by October. Like, we were just really limited. And so we felt like it was time to expand. Now we have capacity to grow. When you get to this point of growth, like, people have a lot of opinions about what that growth looks like. I don't want to lose the integrity of the product and the brand just to grow for growth's sake. So really trying to like define that and what that's going to look like and what we want that to look like, which is why it's been fun to work with Jessica, because that's where you get to get all the pretty packaging and, you know, spend a little extra to really make it look like what you want it to look like. So that's kind of our plan right now.